Hey everyone, I'm Adam Haritan, and today I'm exploring the limestone cliffs here in western Pennsylvania, mainly in search of unique plants and plant communities. And right now I'm top of the eastern end of a very deep gorge with a lot of swift water running right through it. This gorge was created when the ceiling of a limestone cave collapsed due to glacial activity during the last ice age. And since then, several plant communities have filled in these gaps, including the plants and plant communities on this limestone right here. And I'm really excited to share with you one plant in particular because it's associated with limestone. And it's not every day that you come across limestone, but today I'm exploring limestone, and if you're watching this video, then today you're exploring limestone with me as well. And this unique plant is the walking fern, Asplenium rhizophyllum. If you are new to fern identification, this is one of the easiest ferns to identify because it is one of the least fern-like ferns that are out there. It doesn't even really look like a fern, it looks like your typical plant growing on limestone. And so it has elongated leaves with a very long tail, and it's triangular in appearance. And why they call it the walking fern is because it walks over this limestone, because it takes root at the tips of these leaves. And so if you lift up some of these tips, you'll see that there are roots at the end, and that they're almost embedded in this moss right here. And from those embedded tips, a new plant will appear. And so that's how it's able to walk across this limestone. And the species name rhizophyllum is Greek for with walking feet. So the walking fern walks across this limestone and creates dense mats and colonies. You won't just find one or two plants, you'll usually find a lot of it, sometimes just tumbling over this limestone. Now on the bottom, you will see the unique spore-bearing structures known as sori, and these are elongated or linear on this fern right here. So that's another unique identifying characteristic for this plant. You're not always going to see that in a lot of ferns. Sometimes you'll see it in the bottom of the leaves, sometimes you won't. Sometimes they'll have separate structures, separate fertile structures like you would see in sensitive fern. But on this plant, on the bottom, you will see those sori. So roots at the tip, you'll see the elongated sori in the bottom. You're looking at limestone. More than likely, you have the walking fern, Asplenium rhizophyllum. And right next to the walking fern is another easy to identify fern because it's evergreen. And it's easy to learn your ferns in the wintertime because not all of them are evergreen, and one of the key identifying characteristics for some ferns is that they are evergreen. And also in the wintertime, you're not really distracted by too many mushrooms or other plants, so it's a good time to brush up on your ferns. This is Dryopteris marginalis, the marginal wood fern. They call it marginal because when you flip it around, and if you're lucky enough to see the sori, or the spore-bearing structures, you will see that they line the pinnules, the margins of the pinnules, or those little leaves right here. They're not in the center of these pinnules, like you would see in the center of the walking fern. In the bottom, you'll see the sori in the center. But in the marginal wood fern, they're lining the ends of it as well. And they're circular in appearance, and this time of year, they're orangish or copper colored. So the marginal wood fern right here, again, it's evergreen, so you're gonna find it in the winter months, just like you will find the walking fern in the winter months as well, because that is evergreen as well. Other unique plants I'm seeing include sharp-lobed Hepatica Anemone acutiloba. If you've been following my YouTube videos or on Facebook as well, you will know that I did a very detailed video on Anemone acutiloba. So go back and watch that video if you're unfamiliar with this plant. I won't go too much in depth other than to say that it looks very liver-like today because of that red mottling, and it might be good for the liver, it might not be, depending on whether you believe the doctrine of signatures or not. But again, watch that video and you'll see what I mean about Anemone acutiloba. I'm also seeing Partridge Berry, which is Mitchella repens. That's an edible plant, and the fruits are available this time of year and you can snack on them. Again, it doesn't taste like much, I talked about that in a recent video, but you can still snack on them. It's an extremely medicinal plant as well. And I'm going to stop right there. I'm not going to talk about too many other plants because I think 4 is enough for us today, but I really wanted to talk with you about walking fern because it's such a cool plant, and also the marginal wood fern because it's one of the easier ferns to identify. And I encourage you to get out there wherever you live and try to identify unique plants in those unique plant communities, whether if it's on limestone or not. And also don't forget to enjoy the process, enjoy the journey of learning everything that you possibly can about this beautiful world that we inhabit. Thanks for watching this video, I truly appreciate it. As always, I encourage you to subscribe to my YouTube channel to stay up to date with these videos that I plan on releasing. Also, feel free to follow me on social media at LearnYourLand, that's the handle. We can stay up to date with photos and videos almost on a daily basis. Thanks again, I'll see you in the next video.